Hey guys, thank you for watching this video. Recently I have been asked a few questions on what kind of things to focus on when you are levelling a character up on Elder Scrolls Online. Okay, so I've decided to do a little bit of a video on some tips for people that are levelling up and have just bought the game and are swamped with all this kind of stuff. The game isn't great at explaining stuff to you, pretty much leaves you in at the deep end, so hopefully what I'll say to you will help you even just a little bit, and that's all that matters. First of all, I'm currently on my PC at the minute, okay? I'm recording using Shadowplay, which is a free software that you can download for anyone who owns an NVIDIA graphics card from the GTX series 650 and above, I believe. It's worth getting if you like to record your gameplay and you have a decent rig set up, okay? It is pretty heavy on the memory usage and it's pretty heavy on space, so videos record at 1080p 60 fps, so you want to have a decent computer set up to be able to use it, okay? It's pretty good, and I've decided to do this video using Shadowplay and not my PS4 because the mic settings are way better, okay? And as you can see, the graphics in the PC are a little bit nicer and shinier, so I thought it was better to look at. So moving on, okay, first of all, my main point I want to introduce you guys to is the fact that when you log in, you will be asked to join one of three factions, okay? Aldemary, Ebonheart and Daggerfall. Now when I first started the game and I had this decision, I was a little bit unsure of which to go. What you all want to take into consideration is if any of your friends are already on a faction. So if you've got friends that are in Aldemary and you want to play with those guys, you will need to go Aldemary, okay? I don't believe there's cross-faction on the PC, so when you're levelling up you'll be on your own if you're not in the same faction as your friend is also levelling up, okay? So ideally you want to first of all find out what your friends are on. Second of all, don't worry about missing out on storyline due to the other two, okay? Aldemary is by far probably the most interesting storyline, questline there is between the three, but even if you pick Ebonheart, you will eventually get to play the Aldemary faction, okay? And basically how it works is, level 1 to 50 will be stories and side quests from your main chosen faction, Ebonheart for example. Vet from 1 to 6, possibly 5, depending on how quick you do quests or if you miss any, is going to be a second faction, and I believe it's Daggerfall for if you pick Ebonheart first. And then from Vet 6 onwards it will be Aldemary, so you will get to try out all of these missions and all the storylines, so don't worry about which faction you go. As long as you go one that your friends are on, you're good to go, okay? Second of all, obviously when you log in you'll have 4 characters to choose from, which is Dragon Knight, Templar, Nightblade and Sorcerer, okay? Now what you all want to do is decide what kind of role you want to go endgame, okay? It doesn't really matter level 1 to 50, but it can have an effect. If you, for example, when I started playing the game I was quite interested in going, on the PC anyway, I was interested in going a healer. So for me that knocks out Dragon Knights and it knocks out Nightblades. So I have Sorcery and Templar to choose from. They're both your healer type roles, and personally Templar is your strongest healer. So, and it's also a beast DPS if you spec right. So I decided to go Templar. Your Sox can heal as well and they're great healers and they are great DPS. So that's your other role kind of stats for that. Your Dragon Knight is your primarily tank role, so if you're looking to tank and take on those mobs personally and survive a lot, you want to go Dragon Knight. Some of those moves are geared towards people that are looking to survive a long time, okay? And lastly is your Nightblade move, okay, which is obviously going to be your kind of almost like kind of PvP, not PvP, it's a DPS role, okay? It does amazing DPS. I've got a couple of builds up there as you'll see. Survivability, awesomeness, it's a great character, and it is beast in PvP, and that's because basically you've got a shadow skill tree and you can go invisible and all the rest of it. So that's your 4 roles: Nightblade, Templar, Sorcerer and Dragon Knight. Okay, so that's point 2 you need to decide. Point 3 then is basically leveling 1 to 50, okay? Leveling 1 to 50 is not going to be the time when you're going to worry about your build or worry about how good you are as a player, okay? You just want to get in, you want to enjoy your character, you want to level up, enjoy the quest line and test out a few things, okay? And when I say test out a few things, I mean your class. You'll have 3 of them, okay? Now for Templar it's Airdrick Spear, Dawn's Wrath and Restoring Light, which is of course your healing side. Personally, leveling up 1 to 50 you want to try and get all these powers used and get them all maxed out so you can get their morphs, okay? And the reason I'm saying that is because by the end game when I say endgame, I mean vet 1 onwards, you will try out a few different builds, and there's nothing better than being able to select a power that's already maxed and morphed, ready to go, okay? And a lot of people say, I don't waste skill points, blah blah blah. Believe me, when you get to vet 1 and onwards, you're going to have an excessive amount of skill points, so don't worry about that straight away, okay? First of all, get the moves that you want to use as you're levelling up, and then switch out some. So when these are all maxed, maybe pop in this one, or, you know, unlock this one and pop that on your bar. And what happens is, whenever you hand a quest in, that's when these powers will be levelled, okay? So for example, you decide you want that power levelled up, but you really hate using it. Pop it on. Now, I really should have mentioned this first, but pop it on your second weapon tree, and then make sure that's equipped when you hand it in, and it'll level up for you without even having to use it, okay? Which takes me to my fourth point, which is the second weapon. Once you get to level 15, you then get the ability to take on basically a secondary weapon, okay, which is called an offhand backup, okay? And it's basically a weapon swap. So basically what you'll do is, for your first weapon, which I use a destruction staff, I'll allocate all these abilities to it, okay? And it means that your offhand backup, you can basically equip more powers. So don't worry when you log in and go, what, 6 powers? That? Once you get to 15, you can pretty much have another 6, okay? And like I said, you can use this bar. If you don't want to use a second bar, you find that you're only ever using these, use this to level these up, okay? So these are all maxed. Do your quests with these, turn it over to this when you hand in your quests, to all the ones you really don't want to level up, and get it in. And the main reason I'm saying that is because, see some of these crappy boring powers, see when the morphs are amazing, okay? So it's worth just doing it just to see what the morphs are, because you might find that you'll actually use these powers even more, okay? So that's kind of tip 4 and 5, okay? Number 4, to get all these leveled up and put them on the secondary bar, make sure you hand in this when you use it, okay? And tip 5, just remember that when you hit level 15, you will be getting a second weapon, okay? And that point was quite important when when you do hand in your quests, that's when everything levels up, you know. My sister played this game, and she really had no idea that all she needed to do was switch to her second weapon and hand in her quests, and all those powers would be levelled up. She thought you'd have to use them to get them levelled up. So, and don't get me wrong, the more you use them, the quicker they do level, but you can still level it up just by switching, okay? Same with weapons. If you want to switch to two-handed, you don't want to actually use two-handed, but you want to get it levelled up, just switch it into your bar, and there you go, you're good to go. Okay, that's my kind of main tip for beginners, alright? Vet 1 is where things become more interesting, okay? Vet 1 is where you're going to be focusing on what build you're going to go, alright? Whether you're going to go Magicka or Stamina. Health is going to be a lot for your tanks, okay? End game, once you hit Vet 16, you are looking, with a buff, of course, if you're not a tank, to try and get 20,000 health, okay? It's important because when you're running endgame dungeons at Vet 16 and onward, Vet 16, you will get one shot if you don't have anything. If you have anything less than 20,000, okay? Doesn't matter how good your healer is in the group. So that's what you're aiming for, okay? You're also aiming for a decent spell critical damage, okay? Which is obviously here it's here, okay? It's only 10% for me at the minute because I'm not on level 22, but you're looking to get that as high as possible if you are a spell caster, okay? If you're a weapon, then you're looking at weapon critical, okay? So these are your main stats. You want to get this as high as possible, spell critical and weapon critical, depending on which weapon you actually use. Okay, and like I say, you want to decide whether you're Magicka or Stamina DPS, okay? If you want to be both, then you need to make sure that on your loadout and that bar that I just showed you, okay, down here, that you have, as you can see, cost us 871 Magicka. If you want to spend Magicka and Stamina points, you need to make sure that you have both of them even distributed, okay? Otherwise you'll find that by the time you get to end game, you're going to run out of Magicka and not be able to use any of your abilities. So, however, ideally you want to choose one, okay? You want to decide whether you're Magicka based and Stamina based. If you're Magicka based, make sure you have powers that are slotted that use Magicka, and if you're Stamina based, make sure you have Stamina abilities slotted. It's pretty self-explanatory, guys, and I don't want to go over it too much because it is pretty simple. Just remember, you want to be the best at one thing, okay? Otherwise you'll be a subpar person that can play 2 or 3 roles, alright? Nobody cares. See, when you get to dungeons and you're grouping up and they're shouting for a DPS and you go into DPS and think that you're, oh, I can tank this boss for you. No, you can't. No, you really can't. Okay, because the tank's pissed off that you've just took aggro off of him and you've died. which meant the healer's stressed out trying to heal you, and it just loses aggro for all the group, and you've probably wiped the whole group at that point. So don't go in as someone who thinks they can do all 3 roles. Go in as one role and do the best as you can as that role. Alright? So vet 1 to 6 is when you're going to be joining the next faction doing side quests. Now the great thing about that is all the quests get scaled up to vet, okay, so it doesn't matter what quest it is, right? And I'll just give you an example. On my journal right now I've got some green quests, which means I'll get alright XP, and then I've got the yellow quests, so I'll get some good XP. Whereas when you hit vet 1, all your quests are going to be yellow, okay, so it's great. And not to mention the new updates just came out, which is basically decreased 15% less XP to move on to the next vet rank, and a 50% XP increase to all vet quests, so you should level up from each vet rank pretty quickly, okay? When I was on my Nightblade on the PS4, I only had a problem when I hit vet 12, and I actually had to grind ads to vet 14. But with XP scrolls and ambrosia potions all out there, there's no reason why you should have to worry about that too much, okay? So I'm not going to go into anything any further, okay? This is just a short video on some tips. Hopefully you've understood it. I've not spoken too fast. What I'll try and do is, I'll try and do another video, maybe some vet tips. Like I say, I'm not any pro at this, okay? I am working on a PvP video, but I am not a PvP fan, so bear with me. And to top it off, on the PS4 right now, the PvP queues are insane. Okay, so I need to actually get into a PvP campaign in order to show you guys properly what kind of moves I use, and that's taking a lot of time at the minute, so I'm hoping they'll bring a patch out or something, or increase more servers. I don't know what they'll do, but they need to fix it, because if you work 9 to 5 you ain't getting in a queue, alright, you ain't getting in Imperial City for a long time. So anyway, thank you for tuning into this video. If you've got any questions at the end, feel free to ask me, and if you want me to do a video on anything in particular, just send me a comment and I'll try my best for you. Thanks for tuning in.